Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Rest. In this video, I want to go over another build, but in a different way. On my previous Cryo Shatter Amara build, I actually received a comment from Inferno Titan 115. Man, I've been waiting for a Cryo Amara. How would this pair with Hellwalker as a Fire and Ice Doom theme Amara build? So when I read that, I thought I could actually try to make a build out of this. Also, I sparked an idea that this could be a brand new series on the channel. If you guys think of any crazy build or crazy interaction, or just some themed focus build like this one, Fire and Ice, drop a comment and I will see if I can make a build on it. Of course, you're going to get a shout out and all credit is going to go to you, just like Inferno Titan 115 right here. And then I'll see if I can make something happen. And not every single build is going to work, obviously. So even if it's something goofy or thematic, I will try to put it together and showcase it off to you guys, and also leave a save file if any of you want to try it out. But back to this build. This one is going to be somewhat similar to my Cryo Shatter Amara build, except it's not going to take advantage of the Kinsei, and we're going to be using the Phase Zerker. Since we're not going to be getting splash damage bonuses from the Hellwalker itself, we're just going to try to buff our gun damage up a lot to make our frozen targets die a lot faster. This build is very fun, and like I said, it resembles the Cryo Shatter Amara build, but it is also a mixture with my Doomcast Amara build, and it's essentially going to pair those two together, and this is the result you're going to get from it. So this build is top tier and can get you through pretty much everything in the game, but since this is super focused on a theme, you're not going to have access to other things that you would normally have if you just have a plain build and just carry a lot of stuff around. So with that being said, I am going to include an additional shock and corrosive weapon, just so you can have something to take down enemies, because if you're just using the Hellwalker with all your cryo abilities, it's not going to be able to take down everything in the game. On top of that, this is a very mobbing heavy focus build, and like I said, with some of the weapons I'm going to include, it can boss, but this is very mobbing focused, and you can get through things like slaughters just extremely fast, and it's super fun to do it. But that's enough for the introduction of the build. Like I said, if you guys have anything you would like for me to try to put together, leave a comment. Full credit's going to go to you. And as always, my builds are located in my Discord channel if you'd like to download them. Link to the Discord will be in the description. If you download the build, enjoy the video, or find it helpful in any way, remember to drop a like and subscribe. It's free, it really helps me out, and I truly appreciate it. But with all that, let's go over this build. Alright, so starting off, as you see the gear here, we don't really have anything other than the Hellwalker, and plus, like I said earlier, I'm going to include a shock and corrosive monarch just to help out with the ball scene, especially if you want to do something like a takedown. But if you need a pure ball scene build or a ball scene guide, definitely be sure to go check out my Amara ball scene video. I go over everything that you really need to know on her, on how to boss very efficiently. Now, I also have an EMP5 right here just to move around the map faster. That's literally the only reason I'm using it. The main focus of this is the Hellwalker, since this is a Ice of Fire Doom theme Amara build. So we have an anoint where you have, after using phase cast, you get 250% more damage. As we all know, phase casting with the Hellwalker is a very fun playstyle, so if you're having this anoint on it, it just makes this thing absurd, and you're going to be able to destroy everything. Now, that alone is not what is carrying this build. We have a lot of other stuff that actually is going to play into this as well. So we also have a snowshoot where on access skill start, any effects that you're going to show, break, or feel, so this is going to activate them. So the way it's going to work is now you're going to get 250% more damage on top of a Cryo Nova going out around you as soon as you pop your action skill. This in return is going to freeze everything to let your Hellwalker just one shot, and since enemies are frozen, you can easily hit crits to ricochet shots everywhere and kill all the frozen targets. Now, to help freeze enemies better, we have a Icebreaker Victory Rush, so you have a better chance to freeze an enemy, and when that enemy is frozen, you're going to do more damage to them. And then also when you get a kill, you get more movement speed and damage, which does help out a little bit. But the cycle of this is to just use your active skill to freeze everything, easily do it with this, then headshot them with the Hellwalker. Now, we also have a Phase Zerker. Again, if you don't know what the Phase Zerker does, when you use your axe skill, you're going to get max rush stacks, which should be 25 with all of our skills. Each one of those rush stacks is going to give you more damage and axe skill cooldown rate, and you get an additional 5 rush stacks. The Phase Zerker is still one of Amar's best class mods in the entire game, and it holds up to this, and it just makes this build absurd. Now, we have an Its Piss right here, where on axe skill you get 50% bonus radiation damage. I personally just like to use radiation damage, since it's very, incendiary and cryo themed. That's going to be good against flesh and armor. So if you have something like radiation or shock, you'll have something for shields too for the Hellwalker, which is really nice. But you can run whatever you want to right here with this anoint, and this build will still perform just fine. So getting to the skills, there are going to be skill points everywhere with this build, but we're going to start Mystical Assault. We're going to put 5 points to do harm, so every rush stack we have, we're going to get more action skill damage. This is going to be really good for freezing targets, because we're going to be using the Deliverance Phase Cast action skill. If you don't know what this does, whenever your Phase Cast hits an enemy, it's going to shoot out these 3 elemental projectiles that go out and hit additional enemies and these are based on whatever your axe skill element is. If you can see, we're going to be running Cold Hearted, which is cryo. So you're going to have a cryo phase Zerker that when it hits an enemy, it's going to freeze because you're doing so much damage or do harm. Then you're going to have these little orbs come out that go out and start freezing other targets. This is really, really good, you know, pair with the cryo, and it takes it to another level. Now, do harm also will let your phase cast just kill enemies, which is also really nice since you have 5 points in it. Now, 3 points of Violent Tapestry. This is gonna really help get your cryo to proc, on top of having things like the icebreaker right here. Your Hellwalker alone can freeze an enemy. If you have that phase cast damage proc on top of all your other, you know, cryo efficiency buffs, your Hellwalker will literally just freeze an enemy with one shot. So you're not only just doing incendiary damage, if you're fighting a tanky target that won't die to one shot, literally one, sometimes 2 shots freeze the enemy, and you have a Hellwalker that's going to be able to freeze enemies, and that is due to we're going to be taking 5 points in infusion. So this is going to convert 40% of your damage to whatever axe skill element you're using, which is, like I said, going to be cryo. So in return, all that's working together to make your Hellwalker be able to freeze people too, and it's really fun. Now, 3 points of fast hands. This is just to get more reload speed, weapon slot speed, and motion speed. This is always just really good. You know, it makes the playstyle of Amara just faster, more fun. 3 points of Transcend, so whenever you use an axe skill, we get more critical hit damage and accuracy. One of Amara's best skills, like I'll always say. This can stack to up to 2 times, and you're gonna be able to just kill so much with this. Now, 1 point Ascendant, so we can buff whatever our axe skill augment is, which is actually gonna be Revelation, if you don't believe it or not. So what this does, when your axe skill hits an enemy, you're actually going to release a Nova on whatever your axe skill hits. So now, when you throw your phase cast out, not only are you releasing a cryo nova from yourself, the phase cast is going out freezing enemies. Every time the phase cast hits an enemy, it's going to release these orbs to go out to freeze other enemies, and the nova, since the phase cast hit an enemy, is going to blow up and start to freeze other enemies as well. So you just hitting your axe skill one time is doing so much cryo AoE, and it is kind of insane. And on top of that, you're also getting your damage buffs from your anoints and your other skills. And those skills are also things like Late Bear, so whenever your axe skill hits an enemy, you're going to do 25% more damage to them. Then you also have things like Wrath, so whenever you use your axe skill, you get 20% more damage on top of just a base 20% more damage. Then Awakening is going to buff things like Do Harm and Violent Tapestry to make this build work even better. Then 1 point in Remnant, so whenever you kill an enemy, you're going to spawn a Overkill Orb that is going to go out based on what your axe skill element is. This is also going to be cryo, so in all the midst of what I just said, you also have a Remnant Orb now going out and flying towards enemies to freeze enemies or just insta-kill them based on how much damage you've done. Then finally, 1 point in Avatar to get those 10 bonus draw stacks to get to 25, and then you're also going to be able to use your axe skill twice to do all this AoE again, and it is just a constant just refreezing of things over and over again. And now that is just a Missile Assault. Now if we get into Fist of Elements, we already went over Infusion, because like I said, we can make our Hellwalker actually freeze people. Then I also have 3 points of Steady Hands. Again, I didn't get to the bottom, and this just makes the playstyle more fun to play. 2 points of Fusion for the same reason, but this does make it, you know, so your crowd can start spreading around to make enemies freeze a lot faster. 5 points in Tempest, so we get more elemental damage, which is always nice. 1 point Depot, so we can buff our magazine size by 20%, always nice. 1 point Catharsis, so now whenever we kill an enemy, they're also going to release another Nova, so there's Cryo Novas and Cryo Orbs going everywhere. That's going to freeze more enemies and kill more enemies. 3 points Indiscriminate, so all your bullets can ricochet. On top of the Hellwalker already ricocheting bullets, this is going to make body shots be able to ricochet. And I've literally seen the ricochets freeze people. Like, between, you know, Indiscriminate and Wildfire spreading elements, everything else spreading elements, Indiscriminate is going to ricochet cryo bullets to also freeze enemies, and you can literally just start freezing people that aren't even, you know, in your line of sight. Like, it's crazy, or being affected by your active skill. But then 1 point sustainment, so we gain lifesteal based on whatever our elemental weapon damage is doing. So 1 point of this is way more than enough, especially for something like the Hellwalker. Just shooting an enemy, you're going to be max health. It's very good for survivability. In Brawl, we have 3 points in personal space to get 54% more damage close we are to an enemy. This is an insane amount of damage bonus just for being close to an enemy, and you're using a shotgun, so it's really good. 2 points of Clarity, so whenever we use our axe skill, we get some health generation, which is nice. This is going to pair well with Samsara, so whenever our axe skill hits an enemy, we're going to get a gun damage bonus and a health generation bonus. This can stack up to 5 times, and it's 5% per stack. So you get a lot of health generation from this, on top of sustainment healing you, and you become very tanky. And also to help out with tankiness, we have 2 points in Helping Hands, get 28% damage reduction whenever we use our action skill. and you become a unkillable machine with this build. Then finally, 5 points in trust in yourself. So whenever our shield goes down, we get more reload speed, charge speed, and weapon slot speed. These are all really good, but the main thing we're doing is just trying to get down a cold-hearted right here. You might think you could take some of the heavy rain, but we're not using any splash damage for this build, so it's best to just put it in trust in yourself. And then, like I was saying, cold-hearted is the main focus of this build, so you can have your Hellwalker be doing ice and fire damage on top of your active skill, freezing everything and just obliterating everything on the battlefield. Alright, so that is going to do it for the Ice and Fire Amara build. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is a series I want to start doing on the channel. So if you have any ideas, let me know and I will try to put something together. And again, I will shout you out and give full credit to you. Also, if you want to try any of my builds out, like I was saying earlier as well, every single one of these builds will be in my Discord channel, along with every other build I've made. And if you ever need any of the gear, you just want to try the build out, everything is going to be there. This is a very fun build, and I would highly recommend trying this one out. I know I say that in almost every single build, but if you want your Hellwalker to actually freeze enemies when it's normally just supposed to be an incinerated shotgun, on top of your action skill being able to freeze everything around you, this is 100% the build for you. But that's going to do it all from me, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.